Well, if my judgment of the attentive silence in the room while the other speakers were talking is reasonably accurate, nobody has any good counter-argument to this, what has been said, but your feeling is there's no bloody way that we're going to have a water market here. That's my sense, is because I've been here for a while and I've been promoting this idea for a while, and by and large most people say no way, but they don't really have any argument that counters my point. It's just no way. Henning was really covering that really well. Now, in light of that, and in light of the really good overview that I was expecting Henning and Ron to give, I was going to focus on, okay, so we don't have a water market, what then? Well, what we have right now is first in time, first in right. What does that mean if we have a shortage? We had another presenter a while ago who said first in time, first in right is a water allocation system in a drought. Okay, we have a water allocation system. We have a drought management system. What is it going to do? And that's what I'm interested in. So, to get a little more clarity on this, here's a quote from the Water Act. So, section 15, paragraph 1. The respective rights exercisable under 2 licenses authorizing the diversion of water from the same stream have precedence in law according to the respective priorities of the dates from which the licenses take precedence as set out in them. Okay? Lots of words, but that's first in time, first in right. If you have a more senior water license, and if there isn't enough water for both licenses, you're the lucky one, the other guy's out of luck. Okay? Now, there's a lot of streams in the Okanagan on which there's licenses. We have one watershed. So one of the questions that came up here was, what does it mean to be taking water from the same stream? And I've talked to a few people about this and I got conflicting answers. Some people said this prior appropriation, this first in time, first in right, only applies to the named stream, which may have only 2 or 3 licenses on it. Other people said it's the whole watershed, which means that somebody down in Osoyoos, their water license is connected legally to licenses further up the system. Okay? But there wasn't a whole lot of clarity. Now, I went a little bit further in the Act to say what's a stream. This is a definition of a stream. So a stream includes a natural water course or source of water supply, whether usually containing water or not, and a lake, river, creek, spring, ravine, swamp, or gulch. Doesn't really answer my question. So what is a natural water course? Again, is it the whole watershed? Or is it just that one source from which a few people are pumping? Well, I figure go to somebody who knows. And I contacted the controller of water rights in Victoria, and he sent a very clear email back saying that basically it's the whole watershed. So to quote from the email, the streams are connected in a watershed, and so there is a legal relationship between the water licenses within a watershed, including the various tributaries. And the subsequent part of the email actually gave an exact example of what I was talking about. If there's a junior upstream license and a senior downstream license, the junior guy is going to have to stop, even if it's on a different named tributary in the water license. Okay? So water license priority is not restricted to the named stream on the license, and junior users are junior to senior licenses held on downstream tributaries. Okay, so this means the whole Okanagan's connected. So prior appropriation, or first in time, first in right, is not just people on Mission Creek relating to each other. It's the relationship between people on Mission Creek, Vernon Creek, Okanagan Lake, Okanagan River, and Osoyoos Lake, and everything else that's connected to that. Okay? So what's it going to look like? Well, just to get a little more facts, there's 1,306 unique named water sources. 1,219 of those have units that I could convert into cubic meters. And there's the 20 largest ones. And I'm looking at the Okanagan as defined to include the Similkameen here, at least for that graph. And what I wanted to do was look at what the connections mean when they play themselves out. So let's say there's not enough water to satisfy all of them. Where are the cutoffs going to be? Who's going to lose water? Okay? And so to do that, I had to actually model all of these water licenses, or at least a good chunk of them. I looked at just over 100 of the streams that have the largest volume of licenses, and then a few streams to connect them together in building this model. So in this model, I have a network, and the streams are ordered by where they are. So tributaries are connected to parent streams. And then I have a priority that tracks itself out through the entire watershed. And that way I can enforce this legal requirement that upstream juniors must yield to downstream seniors in a shortage. And then unused upstream water, of course, flows down to everybody else. So I am maintaining water balance. It's like there's one water in the Okanagan, and a liter that's not used in Mission Creek is a liter that's available in Okanagan Lake. Okay. Here's an example of the kind of things that would be present in this model. So I looked at Mission Creek, and from Mission Creek, I didn't include every single tributary, but these are the main ones. So there's 5 creeks in my model that flow into Mission Creek. 3 of those themselves have creeks that flow into them, and most of these have licenses on them at some level. Okay, so when I play this thing out for the whole Okanagan, and I look at gradually reducing the amount of water. So on this picture, when you're over on the right-hand side, where there's a 1.0 on the horizontal, that means 100% of the water necessary to fulfill every single license is available. And the way I'm doing this is I take each stream and I put in the stream enough water to satisfy all the licenses. That's what's going on that end where there's a 1.0 on the bottom. Well, if there's enough water to satisfy all the licenses, then every license gets water, and what we have going up on the left is the share of the license that's usable. So when there's enough water to fill all the licenses, everybody's fully used. That's why we start at the top right corner.